And finally we have some tractors doing some tractory things. So the VERTI draining is going ahead. All the tractors are fitted with satellites, so I think that's what this guy's doing over here, is he's just taking the dimensions of the pitches and then getting it all logged in, while these guys here get all the VERTI drains on. Now this should have happened a couple of times. It should have happened in October, but the club were too slow to get back to me to approve the quotes. Once they got back to me, it was then booked in for mid-November, and then one guy on the committee decided that they shouldn't have it done until they wait the FA's review. The FA came in and said, the first thing you need to do is to VERTI drain. So then they phoned up and said, yes please, we'll definitely have that VERTI draining. To which I said, mate, there is a queue and you have gone right to the back. So yeah, so it was booked in for just before Christmas. Then it turned out that because of the weather, and then they had their last sort of set of games, it couldn't go ahead. Then we tried on the 27th, and it was too wet then. So here we are. It's a bit drizzly, but it's more sort of in the air. But yeah, it's not ideal. So yeah. Anyways, it's meant a few early mornings over Christmas getting prepared, but yeah, it seems to be going ahead nicely, hopefully. As you can see, the tractor's driving around. It doesn't seem to be leaving too much of a mess. The biggest issue, sort of weather-wise, is this 6-yard box here. As you can see, I'm walking. It's a damp leaf, but it's perfectly fine. It's just this 6-yard box over here, really. You can just begin to hear now. But I mean, I can honestly say I've VERTI drained a lot wetter. And also, I think if you're not starting sort of here and you start wherever and then pass through that patch there, that will work out absolutely fine. Okay, so what the guys are doing are taking the worn tines from the last pitch off and putting brand new tines on. So as you can see, these are brand new ones, and these are be able to sort of go full depth if you like, because as you're going in, and particularly if you're hitting sand and stone, it just wears them away a little bit, so you just don't get that full depth. And here you go, here's a perfect example. Here's obviously that bit's in the set, so that's a worn tine, and if you compare that, that's how I have no idea how much work this has done, but that's how much it's worn down. Okay, so the third tractor's now back after getting the coordinations, and he's loading up with the last VERTI drain. So obviously this has got GPS, or some might call it satellite, and it literally looks like satellite dishes, doesn't it? Okay, so that's nearly the very first pass, and one thing instantly that certainly I recognise the smell, but the sourness which comes out of the holes straight away, and that's your gas exchange, that's your stale air being allowed out, and what this means is the good new oxygen can get into the soil. So instantly, as soon as you smell that, you know aeration is needed. So that's the first of the 3 tractors off. They're going to be here a full day, I'd imagine. The great thing about the GPS and everything is that they don't necessarily, obviously they've got lights on the tractors, but they can, it makes it a lot easier in the dark. When I was on the golf course, of course, what I'm trying to do is look out the window, see the holes, and the idea is that these spacings, which are what sort of a fingerish, if you like, is that the next one on my next line down is, you know, if it's that far apart, I want to ideally drive back down and keep my distance the same, so that the holes would be the same the whole way across. Now on a football pitch it's a bit easier, because all you really need to do is get yourself set up and just concentrate on that spot. Now the problem on a golf course is that you've got golf balls, you've got bunkers, the fairway isn't necessarily straight, so you've got to sort of be really looking where you're going. But the really difficult things to find is the pop-ups, because they just keep coming and they keep coming, and you have to sort of pass over them. So a football field is a lot easier to do, because you don't really have too much to worry about. He's just turned round. I don't know what he's doing actually. So I assume what he's doing is that's kind of his turning circle. Okay, so he's come down here. That's about his turning circle there. So then what he'll be able to do is to come up here to the end, turn and go straight back down, and then go along and then come straight back up, down, 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 and that'll be the most efficient way, rather than coming down here, lifting up, driving all the way over to there, putting down, up, driving all the way back down here. You can turn because it's the turning which takes the time. So yeah, it's finding the most efficient way to be able to do that. You can already see here there's a few ruts, and that's from, I'm going to say, the tractor of the club. They've got a really old Kubota tractor. The great thing about this with the rollers on is they're actually going to smooth that out a little bit. It's going to smooth it out, then it's going to VERTI drain it, because you can see where the club has slit the pitches, just to try and get a little bit of air in. But I mean, nothing's going to be as good as a deep aeration, because what you find is it's not just the same aeration as what you'd get from a pedestrian garden aerator like what I've got. What can happen is you're not just punching the holes. So the great thing is, obviously, water can, rather than sitting on the surface, can drain down into the holes. Hopefully if you've got good soil, or if you've got soak away or something, it will find that and it will disappear. You also get the gas exchange, the air exchange. Also, if you're going to then feed the lawn, you can then get some fertiliser right down into the grass. But also the VERTI drain has a slight heave on it, so it doesn't just go down and out, it goes down and it just slightly kicks, and then as it comes back up it just kind of breaks up the surface. So water can just pass through the soil a little bit better. But the problem is of course it depends on the soil types that you've got. It's very clayey around here, very. I'd say that's a big issue. So that bouncing around that you saw, that's where there might be rocks. You can hear it there. There might be rocks, there might be stones. real hard bit of soil underneath, and the tines are hitting it. We had it on the golf course. Okay, here, look. So he's come to the end and he's literally swung straight round, and he's now on the inside of the last strip he went down. So now what he'll do is he'll do exactly the same again down there, but he'll swing right round and he'll be on the outside, because that is his minimum, the shortest distance it takes to turn. Okay, so we've got another tractor out on the go, and then he'll come straight back down. And I see that they got Isotune headphones on, so they're probably talking to each other. So that's your textbook, how you would go over a pop-up. You're not going to get every part of it. Obviously that was a irrigation box, but you can't go over all of it. So you just have to go as close as you can, then lift up and be aware of it. So that's a good demonstration. Now what they're doing actually is, you've got the one pitch there which goes from there all the way to there. So that's a 11-a-side. Then you've got this one here which is a 9-a-side. Now remember what I said about turning being the slowest process. There's actually only a tiny little gap between the two pitches. So what they're doing is they're doing one half of that pitch, but they're incorporating, if I can say that right, into the full length of this 9-a-side. And then what they're doing is they're kind of tag teaming it. So one's going down and then the other one is basically just going down on the inside. So essentially they're doubling the width of the aerator, if you like. Obviously that's the gap between it. There you go. What they'll do is they'll run up and down in this direction, and then they'll just, once they've done this, there's a couple of little pitches over there. So I assume once this whole area up to sort of where the light is, that's all done, then one will do the two little pitches, and then the other one will do the other half which hasn't been done. Or maybe even the guy in the tractor on the first team pitch will do that anyway. So yeah, it's working as efficiently as you possibly can. So this is going to be interesting. So he's going to go up now the middle, because remember it's talking about the turning circle. So he's going to go up the middle now, and this is the wettest bit of the whole area. So and I'm including the other pitches up the top. So what we'll do is we'll have a look here, and if you can, this is as bad as it's going to get. So he's starting further back than the pitch, so once he gets onto it he's all moving and it's flowing, and there's no like trying to start, which just makes it a lot easier and makes it a much cleaner job, taking a run up at it. Okay, so what's happening is where it's just a little bit wet, every now and again you just have to lift the roller up, just because what it can start doing is rolling the turf. So what he did was he lifted it up. That's exactly what I would have done, just to take the pressure off the roller, because at this stage, because it is wet, all you're looking to do is get some, if you can get some spikes in there, that is better than nothing. That is going to massively help. You just may not get the flatness that the roller gives. Okay, so we're back here now. So he's on his 6th stripe over here, and then he's done 5 stripes there, so his 6th will go down and then come back up. So on average it's about 4 hours per pitch. This is full size pitch. This is with their setup, with the, obviously you can get VERTI drains which are a lot wider, etc., but obviously they're GPS, so their overlap's going to be spot on. So they're not going to waste any time by overlapping or anything like that. So the way you think about it is it's about 4 hours per full size pitch. So the way I see it, there's 3 of them here. So we've got 2 full size pitches. So that's 1 guy, 2 pitches, that's 8 hours. So that's his day. Then you've got 2 9s. So you've got 2 9s, 2 7s and 3 5s. So the way I look at it is that there'll be 2 9s done by 1 guy plus a 5. And then the other guy, he's got the 2 7s and 2 5s. And that should all work out roughly the time. Now obviously the way they're doing it is they're doing it sort of the most efficient way they can, which involves incorporating 2 pitches in one long strip. So it doesn't work out like that, but I suppose when you're quoting it, that's how you'd think about it in your head. Okay, so you've got 1 tractor up there. I think he's just adjusting the tines or the VERTI drain or whatever, just in that corner over there. Then you've got this guy down here, then you've got another one over there. So that's it. There's not a great deal for me to do. I've come down, I've shown them a few things. I've shown them how to gain access, because obviously you've got the little gate round. So that's kind of it for me. There's not a great deal I can do now. So I'm going to go up to the container now. I'm just going to get a fork and my tamper just to sort that goldmouth out a little bit. I really don't need to do too much to it, but I just feel that if you can make something a little bit better and it's really, you know, it's no skin off my nose, then I will do that. And then what I'll do is I'll just pop back and see the guys. Hopefully when I come back, these pitches will be done, and then they'll be up to the top field. Then what I can do is I can just make sure that the gate is locked, and then there's no issues on the top field. There's no barriers or anything, so it is what it is. So anyways, right, I'll see you this afternoon. Okay, so it's now, I think it's about 2:30. I'm back here, and what they've actually done is the majority of the field. They've done the bottom pitch. So here we go, all done all the way along there, and you get that sort of big wide striped effect, which is, I think, is fantastic personally. So yeah, but also what's quite good, although they were really only asked to do the pitches, by doing everything, this also includes the areas that walked on and stood on by the spectators. Also the kids might warm up off the fields and stuff like that. So and obviously any water that's kind of potentially running from there will seep down before it comes on to the pitch if it's higher than the pitch. So here we are over the top. So we've got 1, 2, I think we've got 4 pitches. So we've got this 7-a-side, then we've got the 1, 2, 3 over there. I can't remember now. So what is great about the GPS is that, as I say, there's never any spacing issues. There's never any overlaps, there's never any missed bits. It's all been very, very consistent. Which, particularly on a golf course, makes a massive difference, because if you've got everything going along here, then you've got a missed bit, and then it carries along. When the roll of the ball, really, that makes a massive difference. Whether on a football pitch, with this standard of pitches, this level of ability, maybe it's not a major thing. Okay, so wow, so as I say, it's really, it looks as though that's the only bit left to go. is that section in there, which is amazing really. And there you go, 3 o'clock, and the first tractor is on its way home. Okay, so it's 3:30 now, and they're all packed away. There's just one trailer on the back of that vehicle which they need to put that tractor on, and then they are done. So there you go, there's a little bonus Christmas time video all about VERTI draining. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all those sort of good stuff. And yeah, so I'll next video will definitely be in the new year, because I'm not planning on working between now and the 1st.